The real reason 80% of businesses fail, and how to avoid it. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is starting their dream business. They're excited, motivated, ready to change their life. But here's the hard truth, within 5 years, 80% of them will be out of business. Not because they weren't smart enough. Not because they didn't work hard. But because they made the same critical mistakes that have destroyed businesses for decades. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those mistakes are, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Because the difference between success and failure isn't luck. It's knowledge. If you're thinking about starting a business, or you're already running one, this might be the most important video you watch this year. We're going to break down the 10 real reasons businesses fail. Not the surface-level stuff you read in generic articles, but the actual, fundamental problems that kill companies. And here's what makes this different: for each reason, I'm giving you a concrete, actionable solution. Something you can implement today. By the end of this video, you'll have a blueprint for building a business that doesn't just survive, but thrives. So let's get into it. Point number 1. They solve problems that don't exist. The number one reason businesses fail is simple: they build something nobody wants. Entrepreneurs fall in love with their idea. They spend months, sometimes years, building the perfect product. Perfect website. Perfect branding. Then they launch, and, crickets. Because they never validated whether anyone actually needed what they were selling. Here's what happens: you think you know your customer's pain point. You assume you understand their needs. But you never actually ask them. The solution: before you invest serious time or money, talk to your potential customers. Not your friends. Not your family. Real people in your target market. Ask them about their problems. What frustrates them? What would they pay to fix? Then, create a minimum viable product. The simplest version of your solution. Test it. Get feedback. Iterate. Remember, it's better to build something 10 people love than something 1,000 people think is just okay. Point number 2. They run out of cash. Cash flow is the lifeblood of your business. And it's where most businesses bleed out. You might be profitable on paper, but if you can't pay your bills this month, you're done. Many entrepreneurs make the same mistake: they confuse revenue with cash. They see money coming in and think they're successful. But that money might be tied up in inventory, or owed by customers who pay in 60 days. Meanwhile, your rent is due today. The solution: build a cash flow forecast. Every week, know exactly how much money is coming in and going out for the next 3 months. Create a cash reserve. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months of operating expenses. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes discipline. But it's the difference between weathering a storm and going under. And here's a rule that will save you: get paid faster than you pay others. Offer discounts for early payment. Negotiate longer payment terms with suppliers. Invoice immediately. Cash flow management isn't sexy, but it keeps you alive. Point number 3. They don't understand their numbers. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Too many business owners run on intuition. They have a vague sense of whether things are going well. But they don't know their actual margins, their customer acquisition cost, or their lifetime customer value. They're flying blind. And when problems arise, they can't diagnose them. They don't know if they need to cut costs, raise prices, or find new customers. So they guess. And usually guess wrong. The solution: know your key metrics. At minimum, track these 5 numbers. 1. Gross profit margin. How much you keep after direct costs. 2. Customer acquisition cost. How much it costs to get a new customer. 3. Customer lifetime value. How much a customer is worth over their entire relationship with you. 4. Burn rate. How fast you're spending money. 5. Cash runway. How long you can operate before you run out of money. Review these weekly. When you know your numbers, you can make decisions with confidence instead of hope. Point number 4, they try to do everything alone. The solo entrepreneur myth is dangerous. You can't be great at everything. You can't be the visionary, the operator, the marketer, the accountant, and the salesperson all at once. When you try, you spread yourself too thin. Critical tasks get neglected. You burn out. And your business suffers. The solution: focus on your zone of genius. What are you uniquely good at? What creates the most value in your business? Do that. Everything else? Delegate, outsource, or eliminate. Start small. Hire a virtual assistant for administrative tasks. Use a bookkeeper for finances. Bring in a freelancer for design work. As you grow, build a team that complements your weaknesses. Surround yourself with people who are better than you at specific things. Remember, asking for help isn't weakness. It's strategy.
Point number 5. They have no clear positioning. If you try to serve everyone, you serve no one. Businesses fail because they don't stand for anything specific. They're a general solution for general people with general problems. And in a crowded market, general doesn't win. Think about it. When you have a specific problem, do you want a specialist or a generalist? You want someone who deeply understands your exact situation. The solution: get narrow. Define your niche clearly. Who exactly are you serving? What specific problem are you solving? What makes your approach different? Create a positioning statement. We help specific audience achieve specific outcome through unique approach. When you specialize, you become the obvious choice for your ideal customer. You can charge more, you can market more effectively, and you build a reputation faster. Don't be afraid to exclude people. Your goal isn't to appeal to everyone, it's to be irresistible to the right people. Point number 6. They ignore their competition. Some entrepreneurs believe ignoring competition shows confidence. We're so unique, we don't have competitors. That's not confidence. That's arrogance. And it's dangerous. Your competition is solving the same problem for the same customers. They're learning what works. They're making mistakes you could avoid. They're innovating in ways that might make you obsolete. The solution: study your competition religiously, not to copy them, but to learn from them. What are they doing well? What are customers complaining about? Where are the gaps in the market? Set up Google alerts for your competitors. Subscribe to their newsletters. Buy their products. Understand their pricing, their marketing, their customer experience. Then find your angle. What can you do better? Faster? Cheaper? More personalized? Competition isn't the enemy, ignorance is. Point number 7. They scale too fast. Growth is exciting, but premature scaling kills businesses. You get your first customers, revenue starts coming in, you get confident. So you hire more people, rent a bigger office, invest in expensive tools. But your systems aren't ready. Your processes aren't refined. Your product market fit isn't proven. Then growth stalls. And now you've got massive overhead with no revenue to support it. The solution: scale sustainably. Prove your business model at a small scale before expanding. Can you consistently acquire customers? Can you deliver your product or service reliably? Are customers coming back? When you do scale, do it in stages. Hire slowly. Add expenses cautiously. Build systems before you need them. A simple rule: don't add fixed costs until you have predictable revenue to cover them. Fast growth feels good. Sustainable growth keeps you in business. Point number 8. They underestimate marketing. Build it and they will come, except they won't. Having a great product isn't enough. If nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter how good it is. Many entrepreneurs, especially those from technical backgrounds, treat marketing as an afterthought. Something you do after you've built the perfect product. But marketing isn't separate from your business. It is your business. The solution: market from day one. Before you even launch, build an audience while you're building your product. Share your journey, educate your potential customers, create valuable content that solves their problems. Choose 1 or 2 marketing channels and master them. Don't spread yourself thin across every platform. Could be content marketing, could be paid ads, could be partnerships, could be email marketing. Whatever you choose, commit to it for at least 6 months. Consistency beats perfection. And track everything. Know which channels bring customers. Know what messaging resonates. Double down on what works. Point number 9, they don't adapt. The market changes. Customer needs evolve. Technology advances. Your competitors innovate. And if you stay the same, you become irrelevant. Business failure is rarely sudden. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Slow, gradual decline because you didn't adapt to changing conditions. Kodak invented the digital camera, then refused to embrace it because they were committed to film. We know how that ended. The solution: build a culture of continuous improvement. Question your assumptions regularly. What worked last year might not work today. What your customers wanted 6 months ago might have changed. Stay close to your customers. Ask for feedback constantly. What do they love? What frustrates them? What do they wish you offered? Monitor trends in your industry. Read voraciously, experiment with new approaches, and be willing to pivot. Not every week, but when the evidence is clear that change is needed, have the courage to make it. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's survival. Point number 10, they give up too soon. This might be the most painful reason businesses fail. Not because they were doomed, not because the idea was bad, but because the founder quit right before the breakthrough. Building a business is hard. There will be moments when nothing seems to work, when customers aren't buying, when money is tight, when you question everything. Most entrepreneurs give up during these valleys. They assume failure is inevitable, but often success was just around the corner. The solution: decide in advance what your success criteria are. Not how you feel, but concrete metrics. If you hit X revenue, you continue. If you acquire Y customers, you're on track. Give yourself a realistic timeline. Maybe it's 1 year, maybe 2, but commit to that timeline. Don't quit on a bad day or a bad week. That said, know the difference between persistence and stubbornness. If you've validated that there's no market for your solution, pivoting isn't quitting, it's learning. But if you're simply in a difficult phase, which every business goes through, push through it, because the only guaranteed way to fail is to stop trying. Let's bring this together. Most businesses fail not because of one fatal flaw, but because of multiple small mistakes that compound over time. The good news? Every single one of these problems is preventable. Validate your idea before building. Manage your cash flow obsessively. Know your numbers. Build a team. Position yourself clearly. Study your competition. Scale sustainably. Market consistently. Adapt continuously. And persist through the valleys. None of this is easy, but it's all doable. The businesses that succeed aren't necessarily run by the smartest people or those with the best ideas. They're run by people who understand these fundamentals and execute them relentlessly. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to avoid the major mistakes. Here's what I want you to do after watching this video. Pick one area where your business is weakest, just one. Maybe it's cash flow, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's understanding your numbers, and commit to improving it this week, not eventually, this week. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. If you found this valuable, hit that like button. It helps more entrepreneurs find this content. Subscribe if you want more practical business and finance insights. No fluff, just strategies that actually work. And drop a comment below. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your business right now? I read every comment, and your questions help shape future videos. Remember, the fact that 80% of businesses fail doesn't have to include yours. You now know what the pitfalls are. You know how to avoid them. The only question is, will you take action? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.